of all the people you worked with, I want to ask you if you've gotten any like advice from them, from some of these legends. So
listen, coming into the game so early, I feel like advice was pretty much for every artist I worked with. You know, I was producing Patti LaBelle at 17 years old. So you talking about she's like the godmother when you're walking in the studio. So you listening to everything, not just from what they're saying, just even as you're producing, right? You're learning things when you're working with artists, even as you're producing, on how to handle situations. So working with a female artist is completely different than working with a male artist, right? But I will say probably the most advice I would get was when I worked with Michael Jackson. Because to me, it was like working with Michael Jackson, I'm 21 years old, right? And here I'm working with this guy who sold millions of records, but what you gotta remember, he was a student of Berry Gordy. He was a student of Quincy Jones. He's worked with Teddy Riley. He's worked with so many greats that for me, it was like, I'm getting all of that. I'm getting all of them when I work with him.
Like in one session, like, cause he's been through, you got to him when he had been through a couple of eras. Yeah. Like he had been brought the moonwalk out. He did all types of things in his career. And by the time you got to him, it was just like, now you're downloading that information.
Yeah, and like simple things like knowing on the business side as a producer, songwriter, your number one asset is going to be the publishing.
Yeah.
As an artist, your number one asset is going to be your masters, right? And just hearing him kind of tell me stories about, did you know I own this song? And the funny thing, because we always talk about the Beatles, like Michael owned half a Sony ATV.
Yes.
Michael owned Going with the Wind. Did you know that?
I did not know that. But like his collection of things is wild. Like his collection of things is
hold on. He owned Little Richard's catalog and gave it back to him.
I said thank you.
That's beautiful.
Because Little Richard was struggling with finances.
Somebody told me you went to Michael Jackson's house recently? He wouldn't let Mark in. I had Mark with me, Mark Harlan from Dayton, Ohio. He didn't let Mark in. So. He didn't let him in? No, Mark had to stay in the car. Michael, I love you. I'm just only telling the truth. I'll be back out there tomorrow.
So Mike was like, nah, let me get that back to Little Richard.
Yo, Mike
Come on, bro. Like there's no one can tell me anything different when a GOAT conversation takes place.
Shut up.
I can't listen. I can't hear anything else because to know what that man has done for everyone, for all of us.
Yeah. We're gonna get back to Mike in about 3 names. But one person I wanted to know, all right, so what's one lesson you learned from working with Brandy?
Oh, I think what I learned from Brandy, how important the vocals are when you're crafting a record as a producer, right? So working with Brandy let me know her voice is an instrument.
Yeah.
Like literally, like if I could play a string line on a keyboard, it would be her voice.
Yeah, she could chase whatever you played too, like
whatever.
Like exactly.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So, but I had to learn what I learned when working with Brandy was how important when I'm panning my vocals, how important that is to in the balancing of. And how important it all has to fit within the scope of the production.
Yeah.
And I learned that from working with Brandy, right? I was doing records before Brandy, but when I worked with Brandy, that's when I learned how important those vocals really are. And what it means to have layers of vocals that when you're doing backgrounds and your layers are breathy, airy, versus hard and full and warm, right? And putting those two worlds together to make that sound you want.
So because you started out when it was just mixing by ear, producing by ear, and now it's like visual. Like you can kind of see waveforms and see like the EQ and stuff.
Correct.
But I would imagine knowing how to like you probably have this like highly attuned sense of sound that like I would imagine like those Brandy sessions sharpened it like crazy.
100%. Yeah, definitely like made me every step made me better working with Brandy on not just Never Say Never, but even Full Moon, because that was another project that was the second time we worked together, and it was like you're elevating, right? You're elevating as a producer, she's elevating as an artist, and that's why you get such a great product.
Yep. I've been walking around singing Full Moon all day. Because I knew I was gonna sit with you. That's just like one of the signature songs.